long-term debt process, I can look at this, but you know what? Don't buy into the line that it's not going to increase your taxes. When this is over, next year there's one more year on the current levy. When this is over, your car is paid off. This is like when you take a loan and it's paid off and the banker says, this is operation. So this is like the gasoline that runs the car. But you bought more car than you should have. And your car's only getting 12 miles to the gallon, and now you got to start paying for the gas. And now the gas, of course, today went up another 15 cents. Doesn't it always amaze you how what's in the tank in the gas station can go up in value like that? And how come it's always like Memorial Day or Labor Day? If you're not filled up printer a week before, you can expect about a 50-cent jump. Talk about corporate America. You can see why people are out there in New York protesting Wall Street. Do we have the Roseville stuff? Let's play Roseville now. We'll go to the next school district. This is the Roseville School District about bullying parents. And I don't know, do we have our Roseville guest here? Let's get our Roseville guest out here. And we'll sit him down here because you're going to see him do a nice presentation. We've had him here before. And we can have somebody, we'll mic him up here. This is John Kitzeletchen. Thanks, John, for coming out. Move in a little bit so finish that first.
Yeah, we got to get the mic on.
You got to get the mic on first. And we'll have the camera people readjust the cameras here. We're good to go. Go ahead and play the piece. This is from
my name is John
Tuesday night. This is Tuesday night this week. Of course, this show always brings you the most recent current.
I wanted to publicly thank Julie Fick, who works in the office at my children's school. She consistently demonstrates quick thinking, sound management, and leadership. And when problems arise, she takes charge and she gets the job done. For example, on September 21st, 2011, I walked into the school to bring my children to breakfast. I was shocked to see a line of 40 children standing outside of the cafeteria, and the buses hadn't even arrived yet. It looked like the children had been standing there for several minutes before I arrived. No one was being served, and staff told me that the cash registers weren't working and that they had problems the day before and that no one could eat until they were fixed. Now, the decision to prioritize, in my opinion, the children a distant second, many of whom come from low-income families and where the breakfast option is a necessity, did not sit well with me, and it shouldn't sit well with anyone. The kitchen staff did not call for help, and they apparently had no backup plan if the cash registers failed. So what I did is I went to the office and I informed Julie. She took a paper and pen and went to the cafeteria, I'd like to say to save breakfast for the day. Julie walked in, went behind the counter, and started serving the children and managed the line for 10 minutes. She had one employee check in the students with paper and pen, leaving the other employee to work on the computer system. Julie did not hesitate to interfere with the kitchen staff process, disrupt the work environment, all in the name of putting the children first and getting the job done. Her leadership assured that all the children were served and that they got to class on time with no loss of instructional time. And like I said, Julie saved breakfast. Now, over the next 24 hours, I informed district management of the situation in 2 written reports that were addressed to the principal, the nutrition director, and the assistant superintendent. And I even offered to meet with the assistant superintendent or any staff member that he designated concerning this issue. While it was not my intent, I'm sure that my report was rather embarrassing to district management because it certainly brought into question whether anyone in management was providing adequate supervision or training for the food service staff. Now, up to that day, None of the people I mentioned, including the principal, had observed the breakfast operation this school year. Now, it was my expectation that someone in management would thank Julie for her quick thinking and sound management and leadership, because my children and I were certainly grateful for her stepping in and getting the job done. But to my knowledge, I don't know if anyone has thanked her yet, which is one of the reasons why I'm here to thank her today. But I'm also here because, unfortunately, there is a sad side to this story. Last week, I received a letter from the school's attorney. The letter essentially accuses me of causing the breakfast debacle and interfering in its resolution. The fact is that the food service staff created the debacle, or whatever you want to call it, before I even arrived in the building. I informed Julie, and she wisely stepped in to save breakfast. If I'm guilty of anything, it's being an observer. Now, I'm sad to say also that this letter follows the same pattern as past letters I've received from this district. The letter was absent of facts, no supporting evidence, lies and accusations, and then concluded with the threat of preventing me from taking my children to school. The letter goes on to say that I cannot talk to staff without first making an appointment, and that I can't even ask a staff member a simple question. Now, a review of your attorney billing record shows that one of your employees here has spent thousands of taxpayer dollars having your attorney send me bullying and threatening letters on a regular basis. This recent letter probably cost around $150 to $300 to send me. By the time the district deals with my written replies, unfortunately, you can probably add another $1,000 on top of that bill. Now, this employee does not have the authority to revoke constitutional rights, void state laws, or disregard parental rights. Clearly, this letter is a textbook example of what I would call coercion to intimidate others, which is one definition of the term bullying. There is a glaring double standard in how bullying is addressed in this district, in my opinion. When my kindergartner reports it in the classroom, the teacher resolves it. But in my opinion, when the school board is informed that management, who they employ, is bullying a parent, I see silence and people not addressing the issue. And I think that the silence and inaction over the last year, because I've received 2-3 of these letters, effectively becomes an endorsement of this reprehensible behavior. So I'm going to ask the board here to consider the following. Number one, why do you cut a blank check to this one employee for purposes of having your attorney send bullying letters to parents at great cost to the taxpayers? I'd also like you to ask your management team why none of them responded to my 4-page report, which detailed process changes in the cafeteria, which would save staff time, provide more meal time, and possibly increase instructional time. I'd also like you to ask number 3, ask your assistant superintendent why he never responded to my offer to meet with him or any staff member that he designated. Finally, I would ask that if you do happen to make a trip over to Emmett Williams to pay a visit, please make a special effort to thank Julie. This is just one instance of where she stepped in and has taken charge to resolve a situation. There are dozens more that I can mention here, but we have limited time. But she's certainly an asset to the school, and she's somebody that I think when she retires, you'll probably have to hire 2 people to replace her. Madam Chair, thank you for your time. I'm going to provide the board here with a copy of the letter your attorney sent me, the copy of the emails that I sent to your management staff, and I'll make the same offer to all of you. I'd be more than willing to meet with any of you to sit down and go through the issues that I put forward in my email. In fact, I'd invite you to come over to Emmett Williams and I can show you and demonstrate some of the different process issues that are going on. As somebody who has attended breakfast now for, I think I've been there 3 years and have only missed like probably a handful of breakfast dates, I have a pretty good idea of how the process works, and I'm certainly willing to help wherever needed. Thank you very much. And I will.
All right, we're back. John Kitselichen,
Thank you.
Thank you. Once again, you know, it's amazing how you have to go, and I keep saying this, our founding fathers said, be vigilant of your governments. And that's from the most local to the most top. And so...
Well, and then I think it was Shakespeare was the first that brought in this, he didn't quite phrase it this way, but the statement is about when that when you when the person shows forward with bad news, your response is to shoot the messenger. That's exactly the district's attitude. When anybody steps forward with news that's not necessarily something they don't agree with, or something that's not 100% positive, it seems like apparently the public policy of the Roseville School District is to take Assistant Superintendent Joe Ouimet and stick him on that person to shoot the messenger.
Joe Ouimet used to work for North St. Paul.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I think he was head of curriculum or something.
And the amazing thing, when this whole deal occurred, Joe has announced that he's retiring. And he's actually already retired. And he's only continuing at the district until December on some sort of a limited work type deal where on a contract basis where they're paying him by the hour. And they commented later on in this meeting here when they were talking about other issues about how Joe has limited time to do various things. Well, what's interesting, the district has time to pay their attorney $300 an hour to write threatening letters to parents that are full of accusations and lies and everything else. And they're paying Joe by the hour, Joe Ouimet by the hour, to work with this attorney. So on one hand, he has barely enough time to put together the statistical analysis that needs to be done with the No Child Left Behind rules and stuff, but he has all the time in the world, apparently, to sit on the phone with the school's attorney in order to generate these letters.
Running now, about $200 an hour.
Yes, exactly. Now, while I don't have for a fact that Mr. Ouimet was involved with this letter, because I haven't gotten the public information request back.
The phone records.
The phone, yeah, I need to have the attorney billing records, emails, and whatever else to verify it. But what I can tell you is every nasty letter that I've ever received from the district, they all lead back to him. The attorney billing records and everything all lead back to Joe Ouimet.
See, rather than, and you talk about Roseville, St. Paul schools, went there the same thing, asking to meet with the superintendent, asking to meet with the chief business officer. Rather than just, come on in, let's hear what the issue is. It's, let's see how we can build barriers. When I ask for data, I get a letter from you get this message that says, oh, you have to deal with this through the attorney. In other words, the attorney's going to see how he can keep from giving you the public data.
And I want to make it clear to your viewers that I don't walk into the district center and expect to get an appointment with somebody who is costing the taxpayers maybe $75 an hour for their time. When I sent my letter to the Assistant Superintendent Joe Ouimet, I said that I would be willing to meet with him or anyone he designated, anyone he designated from the top of the ladder down to the bottom of the ladder.
You know, the issues I bring are so big that I do expect to talk to one of the people that are at the level that they can resolve it. I don't want to talk to some underling that's going to then take and filter it and pass a filtered message on so the person that's responsible to make the decision can deny accountability.
Yeah.
That, I don't play that game. I don't play that game.
What you heard in the tape there is what they did is it was the staff, their staff process and procedure has some problems there at the lunch operation. And I attribute that due to a lack of training that is done by the management. So rather than deal with that and address that, their goal was send out a hit letter to attack the person who reported it and then try to put the blame of the breakfast debacle on the parent. I was an observer. But I admit, I was an observer who took notes.
That doesn't even account for when we were talking, John and I, about the rack to put the trays on. You have these little kids,
Yeah.
kindergarten, first.